Um, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to building our game. But we are currently in a slightly tragic situation because I have made a very forgetful mistake. We are now switching up to a new computer, but I completely forgot to sign in to GitHub. So we need to actually check out the entire project again, which might actually be a good opportunity for me to talk about what the heck version control is. So I'm trying to grab a few credentials here before I get started on that. So please give us, this is a little embarrassing on my part, but please give us a couple of minutes as I work on grabbing that information right now. I want to get my own GitHub credentials, please. Thank you. Boo boo boo. Doo doo doo. Yeah. All right. We have all that information. I think we wanted the GitHub desktop thing as well, or source tree, one of the two. I think my preference run towards yeah, we could do one or the other. I'm gonna go with the GitHub desktop for the time being. I am now actually logged in, so I should be able to switch to the next scene. Here we go. So finally, we can see what my desktop looks like in theory, anyways. Oh, our projector is kind of stuck for some reason. All right, cool. So, how's everything going? I am keeping track of the chat. Unfortunately, it's gonna have to be in this location right here for now, but I think I should be able to dock it to the right. Looks like I can. That looks great. And then start shifting it a little bit to the right here. There we go. Cool. So that looks great. Currently, no local projects on our computer as of yet because, as mentioned earlier, I need to work on checking that out. But I should probably describe what the heck version control is. So we'll be doing lesson night related to it. Oh dear. Give me a minute. I don't like showing my credentials to anyone. This is embarrassing on my part. Sign into github.com. Yeah, and then. So, why GitHub? You probably heard about it. In reality, there is what's called a version control program called Git. Created by Linus, who is also the creator of Linux. I don't think I spelled this correctly, sorry. Really? Well, I'm struggling with this. Give me a minute. Oh, there we go. So, right, about GitHub. So Git is the program itself. It's actually a command line tool, but there's a couple of different programs, we call it GUI programs, but basically menus that makes it a little easier to use than needing to memorize all the command lines and stuff, especially with like command line related stuff. Like, it's not a good idea to, it's not a good idea to have try to find what has changed in the file and then editing via using whatever thing there is. So anyways, the intent behind concepts such as GitHub and whatnot is there is a server called repository, and what that server does is it stores all the history, different points in history of that project, and kind of compiles it in such a way that you can easily grab the latest version or like a different what's called a branch, a different sandboxed version with a new feature being added in or being experimented with, and so forth. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with it. And, well, I should probably actually really quick switch over my screen so that you can actually see this. The first and the most important process of going through utilizing a version control is to have a client. So right now I have the GitHub client right here, and it says, hey, let's get started. So, okay, cool. I'm using a GitHub desktop, which is where, as you might recall, is where our repository currently is. It's in that github.com/tech-gamespace build a game 3. And here it is. And I also have a wiki in here just in case, so I should probably use as reference. I should also probably grab real quick where the suggestions are being pinged at. Speaking of suggestions, I think there's an instructions on the lower left-hand corner right here. It just simply says, hey, just type in exclamation point conduct, or suggest, excuse me. Look at that. And it'll give you this document that you can make your submissions to. We obviously have access to the submissions. So I'll just grab the I'll just grab this, and this will be all of our suggestions that we'll be taking in. So if you haven't done so already, you should totally do that. But right, we're going back to talking about, hey, this is GitHub right now. So right now what we're trying to do is we're using a process called clone. We're cloning the repository, which you might recall is this server that contains all the history of our project, into our local computer. So I'm going to clone Tech-Gamespace. Oh, no, that's not the right one. We're at number 3. That's right. So we can clone this, and it's asking us, where do you want to plop it in? So, oh, that's weird. Anyways, so where do you want to plop this in? I probably want to put it in our documents, and I'm going to make a simple Git folder right there, and it's going to have the Build a Game 3 project name, which I think is perfectly fine. We're going to clone that. And what the clone does is it actually downloads a compressed version of all that history, and eventually it will pull, I think, from the master branch, we call it. It will pull from the downloaded repository the master version, and it will get like the latest version of it. So it will take all that history information, compile it, and basically unpack it on our computer to have a version that it thinks is the latest. So okay, we should be able to open this project. We plopped it in Documents and then under Git, and here it is, build a game, and here's all of our information right there. We can select this folder. We actually have the not exactly the most latest Unity project editor here, but we're going to open it. It's going to say, you know, you created this in an older version. We'll upgrade. Hopefully everything I said here makes a whole lot of sense. It's totally okay to let me know if it doesn't. One of the neat things that GitHub does is that it actually lists out some of the changes that you made in your project. So by upgrading the editor version, it's saying that the following files have changed: the pro builder preferences, the submarine.obj meta file, the project version, the VFX asset, which that's new. I never seen that before. And then it also retains some history, like a bunch of all these changes I have made. Hello. Okay. So Unity is currently working on that. And then probably it might be a good idea to kind of demonstrate a commit. A commit is very simple. It simply plops in a change and stores that. It basically creates a new history, a new revision of the history of the project. So here now we're creating a new revision. We're saying in this revision, we upgraded to the latest version of Unity. And the files and committed the files that have changed. And when we hit commit to master, what it does again is it just creates a new revision inside of the history of the database that we have downloaded on our computer. So there it is. And right now it says no local changes. You have no uncommitted changes to your repository. Here's some friendly suggestions to do next. And one of them is to push to origin. And what push to origin does is it pushes that revision that we made onto our local computer into the server, which, as you might recall, is just this remote GitHub repository. I should probably mention GitHub is just a service that allows you to create many different Git-related repositories. So then I could push to the origin to indicate, hey, I want you to update. I want you to update the server so that now when we go to our web page here, and this I'll also have to, when I switch to here and then go to code, it probably, oh yeah, here it is. We upgraded to the latest version of Unity. So now when we hit to commit, it actually provides us details and all this sort of information. So that's actually how a Git repository works. This is critical because you want to make sure that all the people who are using yeah, it says we're not on the latest version. We want to make sure that everyone who's using who's playing around and is accessing your project also has all of these or are also able to grab and download the latest version of the project on their computer as well. I do not like this layout, so I'm going to play around with this a little bit. This is again a new computer, and that is why everything has been completely changed around. So yep, here it is. That looks a lot better. I want to make this one column. Thank you. Awesome. New. So yeah, great, awesome. And what are we using as preview packages? Package manager. We are using a lot of, in project. Yeah, we are using a lot of these cool thingy mabobbers. Let's update to that. Yeah, I'm gonna update each one of these as well. Hey, so it's been a long while since we've done our build a game, so it makes sense that we have to kind of update everything over again. If you're looking at that magenta screen, don't worry, that just means that all the shaders needs to be updated. All the materials needs to be updated, basically. I don't think that's going to serve to be a problem because our project is the scene that we are accessing is not there at all. I don't think we created a multi-camera setup because recently that support has been dropped. When it comes to using Git and any sort of version control, it is highly recommended that you use it. You commit often. Now, you don't want to commit on the smallest changes all the time, but the important part is by having multiple different revisions, it makes it possible to utilize a very powerful feature called what's this? What's this warning right here? Oh, you're not going to describe it to me? Okay, but anyways, you get to use this very powerful feature called not just merging, but also reverting. Excuse me, reverting. So it's possible to put in a bunch of revisions and then think to yourself, I kind of like the previous state earlier, and it's possible to revert an entire project to a previous revision in the history. So that's the reason why you want to make small commits and very detailed summary of why you made the commit. So in this case, we're going to say updated all the packages. You want to provide as much detail in your commit messages as possible, because that's going to help you figure out at what point back in time you want to revert back to. So, okay, we got all these cool shenanigans, bananigans. We're going to switch to build a game. It does not look great. That is probably because we need to update. Yeah, let's switch to our project settings here. Yeah, scriptable renderer and use, some things are hidden. Let's find our quality stuff right here. We don't want to call this template Unity project. We want to call this company name is Tech Valley Game Space. And the product name is Build a Game 3. Number 3. But the graphics here, okay, so we probably want to upgrade that to the high quality. And that didn't change anything at all, so that's good. It's not. Why is this not acting the way that I hoped it is? Let me see if it's under tools. No, that's not the reason. Cinemachine, blah blah blah. We can try refresh and re-import all if we have to. Oh, there it is, render pipeline. Update project material, yes. Okay. Then please explain to me why I'm seeing this instead. No, don't save. Yeah, please explain to me why we're seeing this instead. Is it because... Oh, it is because we have multiple camera setups. Oh no, they're not using clear though. So in theory, this should be fine. Well, this is a problem. Well, guess we try what we can. We don't need this. Oh, well. I guess at some point we'll need that. We'll look into that later. Not part of the stream. This is all part of the plan, making sure that we got, whenever we make updates, it breaks everything. Yeah, if you're kind of curious, like, hey, this has been updated and added to the framework, why aren't you adding all these, bug fixes into your project? If you ever ask that question, now you have your answer, because it breaks things. Oh, I have a bunch of music I don't want in there. That's good to know. I'll be back shortly, just grabbing some water. That's strange. Shouldn't be asking us to log in. Well, I'm back. Uh, hmm. Well, it looks like it fixed the problem. Let's try playing it. Oh. Oh, we don't see our submarine anymore. Hmm. This is a problem. If we don't see our submarine, why? And I think I know exactly why. We need to find a type of camera. There's a single camera right here, which is fine. There's a camera right here, which is fine. What's this? Oh, camera data. There's another camera right here, another one right here. Are these really all just the cameras that we have? So we don't have an overlay camera. Because it's actually in the overlay itself. So, well, oh, okay. So it looks like our ship is actually completely gone. I've got questions. Why are you gone? Okay, we got our propeller. That's good to see. We don't have any of these boxes. All of these are missing. Ooh, mystery. Okay, so submarine. We got our submarine material right here. But we don't actually have the submarine model itself. What? Where'd the model go? Alright, so it seems like in our last project we completely forgot to commit the model. Give me a couple minutes on this actually, that's something I need to investigate. So, fortunately, we have the original computer that had this already. I'm gonna sound like I'm a little far away. Yeah, what happened to our model? I am very worried. Git, build a game, assets. It's supposed to be in the folder according to this. Here, I should probably transition to kind of display what the heck I'm seeing here. Supposed to be in the folder. I assume it's in the project, models, player. And oh, yep, it's not in there. Oh, that's curious. Well then, let's go to Tortoise Git and added that object file. Let's try to go back a few steps and then figure out how that ended up to be. Usually that means that the git ignore accidentally ignored the obj files. No, it just legitimately did not see that file. How very curious. Okay, well, I should be able to solve this on my other computer. So let's bring up GitHub real quick. Let me commit this. Updated graphic settings. the submarine obj file. Commit. Close that. Let me push that. Should be under git sync. Yep. Push. Oh. Pull in the credentials. A dramatic narration of Taro doing something on his computer that you cannot see live. GitHub. That's my username. This is my super dramatic password. Git did not clean. Oh, that's because of this. Okay. I think there's an easier way to do this. So there's a lot of different Git clients. I'm using GitHub desktop here, obviously designed for GitHub purposes. But in fact, there's a couple others, include TortoiseGit and SourceTree, which are two very viable methods. And updates were rejected because remote contains works that you did not have locally. Oh, okay. So that means I just need to pull. Yep. Do it. All right. So that should, in theory, do the work. So now I can use GitHub. Oop. This goes right here. I want to pull changes, pull, and then I can push. There we go. So pulling brings in a change, which you might now notice that there's a submarine right here, object right here, finally, and that should give us so I think what happened was a lot of the submarine stuff was not there anymore, and we need to somehow correspond it to the original submarine information. Oh, because it's now, yeah, none of these names are corresponding to the previous mesh. All right, well, it looks like we have to rebuild everything. That's good to know. Propeller, we got the sphere that we need. The box, 2079, which is probably this one. Here, let's just drop this in. Oh yeah, let's do that, please. Open prefab. That's right, it's using a new version. So box 2009. This is box 2009 right here. Let's. Oh, neat. Let's get rid of this. So box 2079, box 20180, box 21818. Excuse me. Box 2080, cylinder 201, cylinder 202. Now, I could have done this in a much more easier way, but I wanted to retain all these materials, so I'm doing this slow method on purpose, actually. 5 goes right here, 6 goes right here, and 7 goes right here. So in theory, then, once I return back to our good old game, we should be seeing our submarine again. No, we are not. Why are we not seeing our good old submarine again? And that is Byakua's Okay, well, that doesn't look good to me. Um, Alright, so let's kind of play that for a moment. And right now it sees the where is everything? Right, so let's see where this voxel is. Okay, all these boxes are right here. Um, and all of our player stuff is over there. Why is that happening? Oh, oh, I think I know. Yep. Uh, they changed the scaling on us. So, right now it's super duper large, and it shouldn't be. So let's see if that did any better. Nope, still not there. Uh, one more time. I think the whole submarine is not quite at the right position. So let's try that. Alright, so it kind of worked. Um, Even the propellers are all over the place. Let's return that. Maybe the submarine was even smaller than that. Alright, that might be too small. So we can kind of double that. Uh, double that again. Maybe, just maybe. Nope, that doesn't match up. 5. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, we did it. That looks right. The camera doesn't look right, but that's fine. Yeah. So this is it. We finally recreated our good old submarine game. Took us a little while. So at this point, yeah, we're looking for taking any suggestions really to make this game a little more entertaining. I think the XZ plane needs to be adjusted ever so slightly. Yep, let's try that. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 3.5 for the time being. Um, Honestly, these scripts have given me more troubles than they're worth, so I'm gonna disable them and see what happens. Yeah, there we go. That's a little more closer to what I want. Yeah, we got a Saturn. Um, so I think a while back I wanted to include whatchamacallit. I wanted to include machine learning for particularly no reason, but I'm gonna abandon that plan entirely. But yeah, if anyone has any sort of ideas they want to add into this silly game, I'm definitely down for that. It's a little dim and hard to hear what the music. music is playing. I'm wondering if a different audio source does anything. Nope. Nope. Well, guess I'm just gonna be dealing with quiet for now. Oh, wait. There we go. I think the, yeah, I think the microphone is probably gonna double catch that, so I should probably keep this volume relatively low. There we go. Alright, cool. So we did it. We finally recreated our game, and we should be able to go to the. Yeah, we're gonna save that definitely. Um, Definitely also save all the project as well. The menu should now work too. Oh nope, never mind. The menu does not work. Okay, and the menu probably does not work because Byakua's the submarines is not. Yep, it's also missing its mesh filters as well. That's good to know. That's good to know I have to do this consistently. And at least they're named properly, so it makes it easy to figure out what the heck's going on. Yeah, that should do it. And then there's a bunch of overrides in here. I'm going to just say apply all. And we should be able to just play this menu. Yeah, there it is. Look at that, our submarine in all of its glory. And then when we return to build a game, we have our good old submarine right here. Yeah, about that player. A bunch of overrides, no overrides to do. Okay, well, that makes sense. Cool. Well, let's see. Any suggestions so far online? I'm not seeing any suggestions here. Well, I guess it's time to get a little creative in what the heck I want to make here. So first off, I want to make sure that there's a little more juice in actually busting through some of these boxes. And there's definitely more juice that can be used for the torpedo being launched as well, because by itself it just doesn't feel all that cool. There's definitely ways to also make the torpedo feel like it's a little, the torpedo itself feel a little more powerful. So that can be done with like, we can probably make some sort of like hit pauses occurring. So yeah, let's start off with some fairly easy stuff. I'm thinking to myself. Let's start off with, you know, the blocks kind of exploding. So yeah. Voxels. prefabs. We got these voxels right here. And we'll probably want to go with yeah, let's just create a new particle effect right here. I'm gonna create it at this location, and we're just gonna call it particle system. The second thing we're gonna want is to attach a script to this as well. Do we have a pooled object script? We do. All right, sweet. So we can just remove that all the way up to the top. And right now it's spitting out a bunch of not very useful magenta. That is because it doesn't have a material attached to it. So we're definitely going to want to add a material to this. Let's kind of create a neat material. We're going to call this dust explosion. And we're going to switch this to, it should be under, I don't know why it's under not supported. No, it should be under lightweight pipeline, and then particles. And we are going to call it, let's try lit. I'm curious what happens if we choose lit. So it's just going to do that. We got this. And we want to switch this to good old dust explosion. And right now it looks terrible because it doesn't have any directional light. So let's add in real quick light source, directional light, there we go. And then it currently looks like this. So that doesn't look great, but I think we can add in we might want to anyways. We might want to change the render so that instead of giving that, it gives out a mesh. And right now it's giving out a bunch of cubes, which actually is apt. We can also have it so that it just spits out a bunch of circles instead. Or planets. Oh my goodness, what have I done? Okay. Or it'll be planets. I am kind of inclined to go with cubes because that actually makes a lot of sense. And then right now it's having the render alignment be towards the view. I would rather have it be in the world, and rather than in that direction, sort by distance. I kind of would like to see this all in random rotation. Start rotation, yeah, all three random rotations. Random between two constant. 90, 90, whoops, 90, 90. There we go. That's much more like it. See, we got something that kind of looks like dust, and we can change this explosion to have, I don't know, different textures. Oh, okay, so we can add these textures if we wanted to. If we really wanted to. Actually, no, that's not a bad one. I kind of like that. The reason why I say I kind of like that is because it allows me to adjust the color to whatever I want it to be. So, anyways. We probably want to change the size of this to be somewhat different. I'm kind of okay with the start size being that, but I definitely want it to be between two random. And there we go. I definitely want the emission shape to be not a cone, but a sphere. There we go. So that's much more like it. And the emission, I don't want a rate over time, but rather a burst of, yeah, so right now that's a really good one right there. So let's get like 100, and let's make sure that the maximum particle size does not exceed that. I might as well go with 50 here, make sure there's only just one. Cycle interval. Right now the lifetime is that, but we probably don't want it to make it long. We'll make it constant. We can make it so that the color is random. Start color, let's just say random color. From that to, I don't know, that. Okay, it doesn't really like that too much. I think I really like the dirt color aspect of things, so delete that. I kind of like the really dirty-ish color, so rather than that, can I have HSV? Yeah, there we go. Have that more earthy color to it. There we go. I'm kind of liking that. And then we should make the color over lifetime. It might make sense to gradually have its alpha go to 0. It does. Okay, it doesn't really do anything there, so that's not worth it. Then how about size over lifetime? So right now it's growing over time, which is fine, but I kind of don't like that. I kind of want it so that, oops. Let's start off with all consistent. Let's have it kind of drop off over time. There we go. But I actually want the initial value to be like 0.5-ish, and then have the size be maximum. Right, there we go. Yeah, that way I can make the initial size larger on purpose. And then right now the initial speed is currently at that, but I kind of want a more variation of that too. That's looking nice. Yeah, this is looking really nice right here. And then we got all those cube in there. We got the flip rotation. This is saying we should have that. Delta time. We don't want gravity. Emitter velocity. Boo, 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 boo. We don't want it to be looping. We want it to occur exactly once. And we probably want to add in collision for that matter. So right now it's saying plane, but I'm going to stick it to world. And then finally the shape, it's really large right now. We need to kind of decrease that shape to a smaller size. And I'm kinda want to see what it looks like at 100. Okay, it's a little too much. Maybe 75? 75. Alright, yeah, that looks good. Yeah, so we'll have that playing each time. We'll call this Dust Explosion. And we'll make a new prefab out of it by just dragging it and throwing it into the prefab right there. We can delete that, play the game. And then on voxel, there should be, yep, voxel right here. So we're gonna have a quick, please don't, I don't want to give you access to anything. Oh, weird, that didn't work out the way I expected it to. Okay, well, let's start that. It's gonna ask, hey, you opened this, so let's do that. Yeah, we don't need properties. Right now it's a pulled object, which means that we should be able to override. So this is my script that I wrote here. We should be able to override. Huh. That's not what I expected. Go to I pulled object, which should have on after deactivated, called when initialized when that is deactivated. Okay, so let's return to that. Public override void. I guess I'll just do it on awake and all right. I'll do that, and then on after voxel deactivated, I will unbind. So what that did was it's binding to a new event. So we don't need this destroy anymore. Bind to the deactivate event. Unbind to the deactivate event. I'm going to be on the lazy side right here. And then spawn the dust particles. So code cleanup is configured. Configure it now. Yeah, just do it. Oh, whoops. Alright, so spawn the dust particles. We're going to create a serialize Omiya Games pooled object, dust particles. Starting to, yes. Yeah, actually, let me just call that particle system. Dust particles. Omiya Games dot singleton dot pooling dot get. I should just using Omiya Games because it looks like I'm going to need a lot of those. Get. Oh, I need global too. Oh, the pooling manager is right there. What am I talking about? Well, to the get instance of prefab position. So this actually needs to be a pooling object after all. And we're going to say transform.position transform.rotation. And then this will get us pulled object clone. We really don't need to do anything with that. But what that does mean is that we need to go back to, we need to actually make an entirely new script for our dust particles. Pooled, what do you call it? Pooled emit once particles. And we need to bring our dust explosion and drop this. Move up. Remove this. Is voxels? Yes, voxels is in fact in a namespace. And we need to tell it that it's a pulled object. File these two. It should require a type of particle system. And more importantly, I don't think I added that in, so I guess I need to do that. Serialize, I'm gonna be a little lazy. Particles. Override on start. We're gonna make it so that the particles dot play. I wonder if there are events in the particles where it says done. No, it doesn't actually say anywhere. That's annoying. Oh, duration. Perfect. Deprecated. What does it mean by deprecated? Particle duration is obsolete. Use main.duration instead. Main.duration. Okay, then this will be useful because we can use coroutines. Enumerator, disable after float seconds. And then we can say start coroutine, disable after, and then yield return new wait for seconds. Why is it complaining that yield is not correct? Because I misspelled return. And then the pooling manager dot return to pool game object. Or alternatively this. I think that also does the same thing. Yeah, it pretty much does. Okay, cool. So then, that should pretty much do the right thing. And then the lifetime of these, yeah, that should do the right thing. So then it's going to ask that these prefabs right here have these pooled objects in them. Shouldn't be too hard. I can just drop that one here. This one, I can drop this one here. Then this one, I can drop this one here. And then if we play, oh no, object not set to. Object not set to an instance. This may be a code with my own project, or this may be a bug with my own project. Ah. Let's try that. Absolutely nothing happened. Why would absolutely nothing happen? Hmm. Out of curiosity, let's deep dive into this script because I think somewhere in here it has a on disable. Yeah, it has a virtual on disable after deactivate. So that might actually be a better place to check this anyways. Um, maybe that does the job. Unassigned references. The variable particle of pulled once emitter particles has not been assigned. Got it. That is simpler to solve. Yeah, I mean, in theory, this should not be doing that anyways. Yeah, but we can get rid of this anyway. Either way. Oh wow. We should get rid of the light. I don't know why it takes so long to deactivate, but okay. Probably because it's getting rid of all the stinking Yeah, cannot set the parent while deactivating or activating. Um, that's a good point. So, pulled object right here. Uh, After deactivate null. Yeah, you know, that's probably a better idea that I call it after deactivate, anyways. Okay, so that didn't serve any problems, but that also meant that it didn't do anything. And so my questions is, when is this ever deactivated? Hmm. Torpedo. It says then return to the pool, go to, if the script is not null, return to the pool. Return to the pool then does this not very useful thing, which is it should be after deactivate singleton.get polling manager. This should, in theory, fix my scripts and work. Yeah. Alright, so we wanted to get rid of the directional light because that was not really helping. Alright, that's far too many particles. So it really does not like particles. That's good to know. Far too many particles in there. Let's get rid of those. Emission. So let's just decrease that to just 25 and see what happens. So let's decrease it to just 10. But more importantly, I don't think the rendering simple lit is not working as well as I hoped. So I don't mind it being lit. Uh, Maybe it's simple lit? I don't know. It may also be the whole collision factor is really not doing any justice, so we can try getting rid of the world collision and see what happens. Yeah, that actually looks better, in my opinion. So now we just need to figure out how to make the dust explosion not look so dark. Um, I'm gonna try a really simple unlit and see what happens. Yeah, that looks slightly better, more colorful. Something's happening with our computer because it's lagging pretty badly. I wonder what's causing it to lag. Well, it's at a point where I'm kind of comfortable with the, I'm not comfortable with the quantity of emissions here, so I'm gonna go with 20 and leave it at that. Yeah, so added particle effects to voxels, which is emitted when the voxel is disabled. Yeah. Show. How are we doing on the stream so far? We are doing just fine. No new requests so far. I guess we kind of want an end objective to this game. Yeah, what's a good end objective? Right now it's 427. Let me kind of think around for that one for a bit. 427. Hmm. On a completely random note, I want to experiment with something. This submarine right here. So it's deliberately a low poly submarine, but I think we can actually calculate the normals. And if we do that, no, well, never mind. Hmm. Well then, Uh, hmm. Excuse me. Um. Well, we have these Saturns that you're supposed to collect. Uh, I wonder if there's like a randomized chat bot for Unity. Unity randomized chat bot. Yeah, DuckDuckGo. And I'm going to say very strict. Chatbot. It is not free. In my head, it barely made any sense. Feeling bored, nothing happened. Unity, procedurally generated story. Procedurally generated story is now a thing, apparently. The system used above game Tosca is a product of some research. Well, it's a little dangerous to go out there, so I'm gonna switch to normal. We'll be right back card. And that link led absolutely nowhere. Procedural generated plot. Procedurally generated story. This application is a hybrid. It does only work in Chrome. How to use it? Clone it and start the application, or go to Dark Forest Meteor. You can set by going OE. Sometimes you meet a game object, only sheeps. Is this description? Okay, well that's kind of close to what I want. Story generator algorithm. Nope. I might have to reconsider this very carefully. Yeah, let me think about this. So it seems like the classic method is to just kind of have, to generate a story, that is to kind of create like a story beat and then throw in a bunch of catch-all words and see what happens. So let me see if I can make that work. I mean, we're on Saturn, so we can make like a dramatic first scene and be like, yeah, see if I can somehow make that happen. So yeah, I don't like the Saturn sonar thing. So let's see where the Saturns are from. Collectibles. So let's do that. And then right now the particle system is just that. We can easily overcome that with the power of Photoshop. We finally have it. So instead, what we want is we want to create a new, no, I don't want, I want them in pixels, and this will be, this will be 512 by 512. Does not have to be particularly large. Create, and we are going to create a bunch of circles. Yeah. Perfect. All right, so then we are going to create in here, where is it? Oh, there it is. Paint. It's a gradient tool. We'll have it going from inwards to outwards, so that works great for me. Yeah, this actually kinda sorta works. Sure. Kinda want to make it go more outwards. There we go. And then we will take this and duplicate it. Control D. Take this. Okay, so it allows me to change that. I want to transform this into let's say 75% of its original size, but still keep it at 256 by 256. Position right there. I think I can just do that. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that works too. That's kind of think this could be. Kind of think this could be. Whoops. This could be smaller still. Let's go with 50 by 50, and leave that there. Okay. That is too small. 60 by 60? Yeah, that looks good. Cool. And then I can select that, hide that, and then go here, deselect that, throw this background away, and we got our nice fancy dancy sonar system. And I can save that and just throw it in as a PNG. We need to throw it into this project right here. So I am going to say that we are going to throw that. Where is a good place to throw this in? I'm going to throw this in... Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to throw this in its own texture. Textures. Show in Explorer. This whole long URL right here, and we want to open that there, and drop our texture and call it sonar. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, note to self, don't try that again. There. This one, we're going to make it, that looks fine. This all looks fine. Alpha is transparency. There we go. So the particle system, we chose this for whatever reason. Particle lit. This does not let us change that particle. So we are going to create a new material and call it sonar. And sonar is definitely meant to be an unlit particle. We are going to change that to sonar. We do not want that to be opaque, but rather an additive. And then we definitely want it to be very white. And then, so we do sonar here. Okay, that looks good. And we want the lifetime to be consistent, maybe 10 seconds. We only want the emission to not occur on a constant basis, but rather once every cycle. Right now there's a speed attached. We don't want any speed to that. I chose that, but I think we might want to. Yeah, 2 seconds. And then the cycle is that. Starting to think we might want rate over time 1. Okay, that actually looks good. And then right now we obviously want it emitting, the shape right here is currently set to donut. We actually want it to appear and here and make the radius as small as possible. And then over the lifetime, so right now the size is set to this, but we probably want the size to be like this, or maybe even larger. Yeah, way larger. Yeah, that looks about right to me. And then that looks fine. Then size over lifetime, we definitely want that. And there we go. Now we got what looks like a sonar-ish. We also want a color over lifetime to change the alpha at the very end there. We definitely want to change the alpha only towards the end. We might want to change the rate to a little slower, 1.5 or 0.5. Maybe 0.75. Yeah, that looks good. That looks like a legit sonar. So, in theory, there we go. See, that's actually indicative of where things are. Yeah, I like this better. sure is taking up a lot of time. Performance when it's trying to generate a new level. So, I have to think that one through. Like, is the pooling manager updated to take into account? Okay, yeah, it is. So, I guess there's just a lot to go through. Um, hmm. That performance is driving me crazy. Um, so there is an asset called Thread Ninja. There it is. Which I'm going to take an opportunity to download shortly. Oh. This is annoying. I'll be back. Boo, 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 boo. Unity credentials, toss them in here. I'm back. So we'll just say updated sonar particles. Collectibles now have a sonar particle effect. I don't think we added BFXR in here, but I usually like to use chiptone anyways. Chiptone. So, yep, this needs flash. Your connection to this is not fully secure. Allow. So, that's not loud enough on my computer. So, that's that's a good sound effect for that's a good sound effect for firing, at least in my opinion. So, whoops. Let me throw this out for now. No, I really don't want that. Hi, Chill Maniac. That must have been down there for a while. Oi. Yes. No. We're live streaming. No, I'm good. Boo boo. That's a fire torpedo sound. That will be the voxel um, dust explosion. And what other sound effects is really good? Well, I like this. That might have been too much. Mhm. All right, that didn't add anything. Cool. Well, I kind of actually like that, so let's go with that. And let's drop that as collectible, which is gonna play from the player actually. And then there's also the fact that we need a. Boo, 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 boo. There shouldn't be a decay on this. Frequency, speed, acceleration. Hmm. Uh, I guess I'm just not gonna have one. I was debating on how I want to make the sound effect for when you're constantly swimming in your submarine, but I don't see a good reason to add one right now. None of those really does it for me. So, whoop, right, we added those wave files in there. Good, good. We are going to make, so this one should be a streaming Vorbis. That's good. This one we can decompress on load. It will be a PCM. This one is also going to be PCM. Oh, and this sound effects are also PCM. So you might be asking, why the heck am I making all these sound effects the way they are? And the short answer is because Let's have them load in the background too, for that matter. Build a game should also load in the background, for that matter, but oh well. So the line of thinking is that sound effects should more or less, sound effects more or less should be at the highest quality possible, which the PCM handles. But anyways, let's see. We got all of our submarines in here, and we need to figure out a place to bind these sound effects. So collectibles is going to be playing when the player is hanging around. So this one, I'm going to say, I'm going to create an empty right here. It looks like it wants us to make it in the player itself. Sound effects, we're going to call this sound effects. And then we're going to say collectible get, because why not, sound effects script, and we are going to not play that. We are going to mutate the pitch, however, that's important, and then make sure that the collectible is in there. Throw it in the sound effects music filter, and that should do that. And then when the player, so the only good idea I have around this is that player move, we don't care too much about that, but we do care about the collectible. So when the collectible is triggered, it simply plays yay if the other thing happens to be a player. Return this to the pool. But another thing that we can also do is check to see, because I think the player itself is the rigid body. Yes, it is. So we can just say player move, player equals other dot get component player move. And then from there we can say player dot, and then we can add some sort of function. Let's say sound effects. Let's say we want to play sound. This is an Omiya Games thing. Omiya sound audio. That sound effect. Collectible sound. And then we'll throw in a quick function. Yeah, we'll just make a quick property. Where'd it go? No, where'd it legitimately go? Oh, there it is. We're gonna leave it to get. And then from collectible player dot collectible sound dot play. We did it. All right. So that's one way of adding that, and we just need to make sure that that is added into here. We did it. So in theory, that should happen. When the explosion happens, we should have an explosion. That's explosion particle force, explosion fire and debris, dust explosion, yes. When the explosion happens, we should add a quick sound effect to this. Sound effect, and then we're going to say, I don't remember which one it was. Oh yeah, we have all these too. We should get rid of those. Yeah, we shouldn't. This seriously causes problems in the game, so I'm gonna take that out. It makes importing a lot slower. Long story short, kinda don't like that sound effect being there. not for good for organization. Sound effect, and then have the sound effect attached. Mutate the pitch, and then we will want here, I'm going to call it the dust explosion sound effect. Make sure that's fall under the sound effect group, mixer group. Yeah, that should be the right one. Yeah, that looks right to me. And then, oop, that I was not done with you. We got the particles in there, and then we are going to say audio dot sound effect sound if sound does not equal null sound dot play, and then I think there's that one point in the player where we want to tell it to fire its projectiles. The torpedo, there we go. And then we want the torpedo prefab. That's not the prefab, so we want, there it is, the prefab. So we want this. All right, so the graphic, I mean, that's an interesting graphic. We can probably throw in a quick particle system in here. And we can also throw in a sound effect. Sound effect, definitely mutate the pitch. Make sure to add it into the sound effects group. And then the sound we wanted was fire torpedo, which sounds like something like this. That's really quiet. I thought, oh well. And then this is the particles. The particle one is going to be interesting because I want to make sure that it is emitted in the other direction, first off. But we're going to actually use trails for this. Say 180, there we go. And then we can make that angle radius probably near 0. Let's use a super control right here, right there, perfect. And then that radius could actually be slightly larger, 5. Anyways, but yeah, there is a way to add trails to your particles, so that's going to be fun. Material. Let's see, what shall I emit? What shall I call it? I'm going to call it debris, and then trail. There's also the fact I need to take that into account. Okay, so first off, torpedo, serialized field, Omiya Games, .audio, sound effect, and then we're going to play sound, and just have it so that it just plays a sound, sound.play. We're also going to make it so that the particle effects, particle system particles, we're going to have it so that it clears the it stops and clears the particle first. Stop, clear, then finally play the game, play the particle system. So in theory, that should prompt us to drop those two things. Yep, it did. And let's throw that in there. The sound effect we already have set up, and we don't need it to be playing on awake, but whatever. Then particle system, this one is going to be more interesting because we are going to add a few more renders. Billboard, that looks fine to me. Where is the particles? Okay, so the particle trail goes here, and a particle debris goes here, and it's not going to look well. That is not great, but it's fine. Render pipeline. We are going to simply go with unlit for trail. And then this one, we also want to go with park, lightweight renderer, and we also want that also unlit as well. Perfect. So then, right now it's set to opaque. I definitely want to make this additive, and I will choose particle. There's this, which is not the particle I want, and there's this, which is a particle I want. So I'm going to choose this on purpose. But it is possible by checking off the trails. Oh wow, that does not look great. But choosing the trails allows you to create a trails thing, which makes the whole thing, which kind of doesn't make the whole thing look good at all. But that. All right, so cool. And then we don't. The speed can actually be really, really slow, I think. Yeah, that looks. This looks mildly terrifying, but okay. And the lifetime can definitely be very short, like 0.5. And I would say like even shorter than that for that matter. Actually, yeah, if we want to keep it at local space, then there's a good reason to make the speed a lot faster. Yeah, so make it so like 0.1 isn't weird, and then 0.01 isn't weird either. Make so that doesn't look bad. Well, it looks bad, but that's not the point. And then we can start the speed to be like 10 and 20, and then make the emission rate like much higher. Okay, well that's too high. Yeah, so there we go. That's looking a little closer to what I want. And definitely have that like starting radius to be 0-ish, and then the angle to be a little smaller. Yeah, I can definitely see this working. So then it's just a matter of getting the colors correct. So right now, these HDR colors are not doing it for me. They should be like whitish. Good, perfect. The trail itself, right now, its lifetime is that's fine. Color width over trail should be less than half that, maybe, yeah, maybe like 0.1. It may have been that the original particle, yeah, this particle albedo is not doing it for us, so. Yeah, I kind of like that one better, so let's stick with that. And then let's make the trail a little thicker as a consequence. Multiply that by 2 again. What happens if we multiply that by 2? Okay, that's a little too large. So that's approximately what I want. Color over trail, definitely we want a gradient here, and we want it to kind of slowly ease out at the end. I don't think it's painfully obvious there, but whatever. Color over lifetime, that's fine. generating data that's not needed. I will definitely have this sorted by distance. It looks like it's actually showing stuff a little closer. We may want to slightly change the size here. Okay. Right. So we're working at the scale of here, then 2. That looks right. So that looks good. And then you probably want the gradient starting off with like red, maybe. Kind of more oranges, really. Then switching towards yellow. That's way too saturated. The orange also is way too saturated as well. Maybe it switches back to reddish. Then I'm going to copy this hexadecimal, drop 1 right here. Grab that hexadecimal and drop that right here. So that should look right. Anything else worth noting about the trail? The trail should probably also have the spark texture as well. No, it did not set that. And it should also be additive as well. There we go. See, that's looking much more like it. Color mode, enable soft particles, and do the same thing for our torpedo thing. Yeah, I think this looks good. Make sure that the maximum number of particles is down to 200, basically. Maybe 500. I don't think we're going to want that much, but maybe 300. Yeah, that looks about right. Let's try that. Yeah, there we go. Oh, according to so I'm seeing a lot right here. So let's take a look right here. Yep, there it is. No reference, not set to an instance. That is not good. So let's debug that. Debug.log other.name. Oh, okay, here's some. Okay, it got the capsule, which is, oh, because it's checking a collider, which actually makes sense. Okay, yeah, so that's what happened. Well, I got a shortcut. Yeah, I got a really silly and bad idea shortcut on this. But I'm going to say, yeah, private static collider, player collider. collider. You should never do statics. That's the incorrect. You should always be careful at when you use statics. Hi, Taco Pill, by the way. Oi. Instance, and I'm going to say public static player move get player and collider check. If check double equals player collider, then return instance. Else, well, otherwise we can just return null. And then player collider will be set to get component in children collider. Probably this should be a hash set actually. Get components in children. Whoops. Player collider dot clear. Player collider dot add. Oh, it just says add. Okay, well that's good to know. For each collider in col in all. I'm being lazy here. Add this, and then we can check to see if player collider contains check equals true, and then we can say instance is equal to this. So now when the collectible is collected, we can check. Instead of doing this shenanigans, we can say player move dot get player, and then other is the collider. So here it is. We now got the player, and then we can. This should, in theory, work. Alright, so we got some sonars working down here, and it looks like it's actually coming downwards. So what's downwards? We can see right there. Yeah, we got our sound effects. Nice. The poor frame rate. I can tell from the frame rate too. It's happening during the level generation, so we might have to decrease the level generator size here. Yeah, all collectibles. So, I mean, what happens if we switch to just 5? Yeah, the performance is a lot better. Oh, I see what's going on. That's not what I wanted. Let's revert that. I see what's going on now, and that is annoying. Voxel. It's happening when it's deactivating, which is not useful. When the torpedo collides with a voxel. Yeah, I think that's a better method. Public void this public explode voxel. Have it be responsible for doing that. So we can get rid of these two, and that should actually take care of a large number of problems. That really explains the really terrible performance issues. So what was happening was off screen it was destroying a bunch of voxels, but it was also emitting particles, and that's not good for performance. Yeah, look at that. The frame rate is so much better now. Oh, okay, well, there's a lot right here. So, was there any new suggestions added to the sheet right here? Nope. I'm trying to see... Okay. I'm trying to see if... Okay, there we go. So there's our torpedo right there, and the torpedo is not very visible. Wait, are those still... Oh, they're not destroying themselves. What? How? My goodness, they're still... The torpedoes are not destroying themselves. That's not good. Okay, you can actually see the particle effects. Why are the torpedoes not destroying themselves? This is never called anywhere. Start coroutine this. Oh, if you look at it very carefully, you can in fact see the Why is it shooting now all over the place? Player move. spawns a torpedo right there after a cooltime, and says to generate it. Alright, well, it apparently does not place it there at the right spot, so we just need to make sure that position is where this is, and its rotation is also where this is. Shouldn't have to do this, but whatever. So something inside the torpedo script is not correct. Alternatively, it's not generating, so where's the player? Yeah. Alright, so it may just be that it's generating the torpedo at some awkward location, and it doesn't really like that, so let's drop the torpedo in there. Yeah, let's have it occur approximately around that area. So spawn torpedo. Spawn point. I don't think that's the reason, but let's take a quick look. Oh, I think what's going on then is probably this actually. Is this the reason? Okay, so it's right now has two cloned right now, and this one is well out of boundaries, while this one is, I don't even know what's going on with this. This is a little strange because shouldn't be there. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm gonna take. Oh, it's already 5:29. I don't know what's going on with the torpedo suddenly not working. Adding sound effects. Adding sound effects to various elements. Also added more particle effects. Torpedo doesn't seem to work anymore. Well, before I do that, with this, okay, so it's spitting out those particle effects. Let's see if we can increase the size of that. Okay, so that looks a little better. Let's make that even larger. Yeah. That probably is not what I wanted it to look like, but whatever. Ratio, minimum vertex distance, that's fine. World space, width over, generate lighting data, shadow bias. Size affects lifetime. I don't really see anything to texture mode. What happens if I switch to tile? Not much. Okay. Alright, well. Oh, there's noise you can add in. And then you can even add color by speed, or size over lifetime, which I think it should be the other direction actually. Yeah, kind of like that. Not sure what's going on with the torpedo suddenly not working. Ooh. I'm also like kind of curious as to why the camera doesn't seem to work. Oh. Smaller numbers are better actually in this case. Okay, so 4.5 is not good, but how about 4.75? Oops, not 75. 4.25. Yeah, that's better. I don't know what the heck's going on with the torpedo at all. Late update, yeah, so that actually does what I think it does. Yeah, I'll do that for now. I guess when that happens, what I can do is I can say there's a rigid body on this, right? Yeah. Body dot velocity equals vector dot zero body dot magnet momentum. I don't think that is the reason. Oh, maybe it is, because that seems to have fixed the problem. Yeah, see that destruction. Yeah, I actually need to take a bathroom break after this. So I think this is kind of a good place to stop right now. It's 5:35. Fixed torpedo disappearing by removing all momentum. So yeah, I mean we got a lot of polish in there. So you got to see what it's like for me to start adding a bunch of polish in the game. I guess that's one cool and interesting thing to look at. I don't really have anything else much more to add beyond that. Yeah, I think it's shaping